Shalom, friends. I'd like to share with you a rather difficult passage of the Torah. It's Genesis chapter 34, the verses 1 through 31. It's this week's Torah portion. And let me summarize the story. Jacob and his family are returning back to the land of Israel. And they settle in a place in Israel. They actually buy a parcel of land from a man called Hamor and his children called Shechem. And they're living there peacefully. And Dinah, who was a rather young girl at that time actually, goes outside and she's very confident. She's outgoing and she's quite confident in her ability to help people see the Jewish tradition or the Abrahamic tradition. And she goes out to socialize with the girls of the region and essentially to become a teacher. As she's doing this, the prince of the city sees her and acts like an animal. He abducts her, he rapes her, and that would not have been something that the Torah would have spoken about other than he tries to legitimize his actions. And in some mysterious way, he actually felt, I don't know if the word is guilty, but he actually began to like and admire this young woman. So he says to his father, let's go and make this right. I want to marry this girl. So the father and the son go to Jacob, who's there together with his sons, and they're very upset and distressed. And this wicked man, the prince of the city, begins his marriage proposal by saying, actually his father does this talking for him, my son loves your daughter. It's an economic boom for all of us if we could consider ourselves as one nation, one family, one tribe. And let's just tell us what you want. If it's a question of dowry, a question of making it legal and giving gifts, we're very happy to oblige. Well, the children of Jacob, in a very sly way, respond, how could we be one tribe and one family when we're so different, not only in ideology, but even in our physiology? By us, if a male is not circumcised, it's considered a disgrace. How do you expect these two groups, the Hebrews or Jacob's family, to join your group if you remain uncircumcised? If, however, though everyone is circumcised, then we actually look alike and we share alike, and then maybe we can go further to consider the proposal. Well, Shechem and Hamor, they're very excited about this, the opportunity, and they sell it to the entire city. Look, here is a very attractive group of people. They're savvy in economics. They have attractive girls, attractive boys. You know what? Let's just circumcise the males. That's the only impediment. And from there onwards, we could be one happy family. And they do so. And on the third day of the circumcision, two of the brothers, Shimon and Levi, take a sword. Each one takes a sword. And they go into that city and they actually kill every male. Why? Because they were considered the city all as accessories to the crime. According to our sages, some of them abetted this abduction and rape. Others supported it. And no one protested. So essentially it was a collaborative effort. And they felt that such a city which allows and abets a crime of such magnitude, they actually deserve the death penalty. Well, after they get rid of the perpetrators and all of the males, the father finds out about it, and he says to his Shimon and Levi, you've ruined my reputation. You've made me odious in the eyes of the nations. So essentially, why did you do this? And Shimon and Levi give a response, and they say, should we allow people to say that our sister or your daughter is like a prostitute? And with that, Jacob just accepts it. Of course, it is a very big danger. After all, they antagonized an entire region, but the Bible continues, and God protected Jacob's family. Now I want to ask you, it is a very disturbing story on many levels, but my question to you is going to be focused on two major points. Number one, if Jacob truly felt that the two brothers should not have killed the male population, then why did he couch it in such a parve way by saying, you ruined my reputation, people are not going to like us anymore, people might attack us? That's not the issue. The issue is not his reputation. The issue is, was it moral or immoral? If he felt that they acted against the law, he should have said, how dare you act so immorally? You're murderers. He never says that. The response is also equally telling. They say, they don't even respond to Jacob's claim about now the nations around us will look bad or askance of what we did. Instead, they just simply leave off with a rhetorical protest. Should we allow something like this to happen to our daughter and not respond? I would like to suggest the following. The mission of the Jewish people is to popularize the name of God. The mission of the Jewish people is to bring holiness and morality to this world, and by doing so, actually brings honor and glory to the Almighty. And that's what Yaakov did all of his life, and that's what he taught his children. And when he was going back to the land of Israel after spending some 20 years at his uncle's home, he was teaching and propagating the traditions of Abraham, the traditions of Isaac, the greatness of the Almighty, the importance of decency and morality and holiness, etc., etc. However, imagine, after all of this preaching and all of this wonderful ethical moralizing, someone went and started up with a Jewish girl. Not only started up, committed a terrible crime. Shimon and Levi said, there's another way to bring out God's power to this world. There's another way to emphasize morality and decency in this world, and that is to act against injustice. Not to moralize, not to teach, but to actually do something about it. And they did. They punished the perpetrators. They made it very clear that such actions should not be tolerated by all people. But it doesn't seem to be very politically correct. It's certainly going to offend a lot of people. But the two brothers responded, maybe it will offend them. But what's the recourse? What's the alternative? If we do nothing, then all of our high-sounding platitudes will remain exactly that. Because the daughters of Jacob will be open for anyone who has lust and desire. I think the relevance for today is astounding. I would suggest that Jacob was hinting, and it's only a suggestion, that he was hinting that in the court of world opinion, what we did will not be appreciated. So why did you do that? And the response is that, on the contrary, dear father, this will enhance the reputation of the people of Israel by not tolerating abuse and not tolerating injustice. My friends, I think we could even go a step further and even apply it in a family setting, where there's a time where we teach, and there's a time where we could actually explain away our lack of. So, for example, I might not go to shul because I wasn't feeling well. But then the response would be but what will my children say? What will the community say? Will they actually know what's happening? The reason of why I decided this? If I decide not to do a good deed, or if I decide to do something which perhaps is questionable, and I could moralize, I could rationalize this. Shimon and Levi's response is, but what will the man on the street say? What will he think? My friends, the Jewish people are alive and well. Hanukkah is coming up. We will be celebrating Jewish pride, Jewish determination, and ultimately the Jewish miraculous survival. We believe in God. We will fight for God. We will exist for God. I believe this story of Genesis bears a lot of reflection, and to see how it applies with our beloved state of Israel today, how it is being treated by the court of world opinion, and perhaps it should investigate other possibilities, as the Chumash itself gives. Let me wish you a Shabbat of peace and a Shabbos of great spiritual fulfillment.